Hey everybody, this is JP Bewley from BigSexyBeast.com, and this is going to be a review on the Atlas 46 Yorktown tool roll in Coyote Brown. I've had it for about 18 months now. I've used it out in the field a lot. It pretty well lives full-time in my truck. And so let's get into it. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I think should be done differently or could be done differently about it, and then we'll unpack it just so you can get a sense of how much stuff is actually in here and what I think are probably some of the most important features of this tool roll. Yeah. So the first thing I should note, maybe right off the bat with this tool roll, is when it is fully loaded, it is heavy. It does have a couple of handles here on both sides for carrying it with. I've got, actually looks like one of them buckled through there. Let's unbuckle it. And it is made out of a heavy-duty Cordura nylon. I think that's how you say that. And I'm 18 months into it. I use this thing a lot. It's always in the field with me. It's always in the truck. And while it's got some patina to it from things I've had it up against, there is no really visible sign of wear and tear. All the stitches and where it's been put together seem to be holding together really well. And I'm not surprised, because if you can see in here, they are really well reinforced. And so far it doesn't even look like, really, other than the patina on it from being out in the backcountry, doesn't really even look like it's been used from a wear and tear perspective. So let's get into the tool roll here itself. This guy has 5 main pockets here. And this is one of the things that I think probably is the coolest feature about this, is the organization. And so, you know, down here I've got wrenches, everything from vice grips to a pipe wrench, and then a couple of different adjustable wrenches in here. In this next section, I've got a variety of different pliers of different sizes, of snips, sharpening stones, rasps, things like that. We'll unpack all of this in a minute so you can just see how much stuff is actually in here. In here is more specialty tool stuff, so I do a lot of electrical wiring and work on solder, and so I keep electrical in here, everything from electrical tape to a butane powered soldering iron. I've got a variety of I've got a brass brush and a steel brush that I keep in here. This one is typically all specialty tools, cutting tools, Allen keys, hex wrenches, that kind of stuff in here. And here, this one is all different screwdrivers and screwdriver type tools. I've got a mirror so that I can see behind things as I'm working on it in there. I've got my my magnets so that when I drop things, like I always do, I can telescope down and pick those up. And then up here in this top one, which is pretty fascinating actually, I have a full, actually I got more than I thought I had in here. I have a hex set of sockets, hex drivers in here, but I also have a full, you can see in there, a full SAE and full metric deep well socket assortment in that top alone, in addition to the hex here. And what's amazing about that to me is this thing on the whole doesn't seem like it's that big, but that's a lot of stuff in that one pocket. And the cool thing about that organization is if I'm out working on something, it's just like drawers at home in your toolbox. I don't think a lot about where things are at. I know where I keep each of those different types of tools, and so it's really easy to go to and to get. On the back side here, I have a full set of gear wrench, metric wrenches with a ratcheting box end on with flexible heads. And I'm going from 15 millimeters on this side all the way down to 8 millimeters. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wrench pockets here. It has another pocket here that is a bigger pocket, kind of a double wide, if you will, that goes all the way down, that I currently have nothing in. And then on the other side here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets of varying size. I have my biggest wrench, which is 17 millimeter in here. I'm a Toyota guy, remember, so everything's metric. Ratcheting box end wrench there. I have a pair of scissors in here. I have a pair of wire cutters in there, and it looks like that may be all that I have on the back side. So before we unpack this thing, let's talk about a couple of aspects of it. So it has this nice strap for rolling it up and buckling it. Actually, the majority of the time I keep it in my deck drawers and I have it laid out flat so that this way, so that anytime I want to get to a tool, all I have to do is just walk up and zip it. I don't even unbuckle it. It has carrying handles on both sides here. It is heavy with all that stuff in there, as you can imagine. And it has this this strap on here as well. To be honest with you, I'm not smart enough to figure out what this thing is, other than maybe it's intended to roll it up. Somebody, if you know what that's for, comment down below. It has these D-clips that goes through. And again, I don't use it, so I don't really know what it's for. And then it has a little bit longer handle here that I occasionally will throw over my shoulder and carry it with. But for the most part, I just grab it by these handles. I take it down beside wherever I'm working on. I flop it out on the ground, lay it flat, and get to work. The workmanship on this thing, I really like Atlas 46 products. They're made in the USA. I just bought one of their new shop aprons. I haven't received it yet, but I'm looking forward to it because it's made out of the same material. As I mentioned before, all of these joints are like double, triple reinforced. I expect this thing's going to last a very long time. And so no complaints at all about the workmanship. In fact, it is one of the reasons that I got this one, is the workmanship is superior in this thing in my mind. They have a couple new models, I believe, where these guys will actually detach, and you could pull this whole section out and use it as a single unit. Obviously, I don't have that version, and I'm not sure that I would necessarily even want that version, but it's out there as an option, I think, if that's interesting to you. One thing that might be helpful is if it had a Velcro patch on each of these, so that you could have some labels embroidered up and you could stick Velcro patches on here. It does have one section of Velcro up here on the top, or I assume you could put maybe a nameplate or something like that. But it would be nice for me to be able to label sockets, screwdrivers, specialty tools, what do I have in here? Pliers, and adjustable wrenches and vices. Not so much for me, because I pretty well know what's in these, but like if the boys are out with me and helping me work on stuff and I'm like, hey, will you grab me a screwdriver? They look at the tool roll and they're like, oh, screwdrivers are right here. This thing's been bomb-proof. Like I said, 1.5 years of hard use, and no tears or even a hint that the stitching is coming apart. So let's unpack this thing and give you a feel of exactly what all is in it, because I think you'll be amazed at how many tools this thing actually carries. That is just the front side. Oh, I forgot one. That's just the front side. That's not even getting into the wrenches on the back. So as you can see, this thing holds a crazy amount of tools. You can obviously begin to customize it to whatever your particular situation is. But it's as functional as a big box toolbox, doesn't take up hardly the room, and I think it's much more functional from an organization perspective. So let's get all this stuff back in here and bring the video in for a landing. So there you have it. This is the Atlas 46 tool roll. Yorktown tool roll is the version that I have. And I love it. I have no complaints about it. The only thing, like I said, if it had some Velcro patches here so that I could label it for other people. But year and a half hard use, nice patina, no visible wear and tear. Love this tool roll. It's been great for getting me organized and keeping me organized out in the backcountry.